I'd like to call the Beaufort County School Board to order. Your speaker's still on. Madam Secretary, we need a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Beaufort County Board of Education enter an executive session to discuss the following matters. Discussion of matters relating to the proposed location, expansion, and provision of services, encouraging location or expansion of business in the area served by the BCSD pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-70A5. Employment matter personal ratification report pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-70A1. Discussion of employment, appointment, promotion, compensation pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-70A1. Discussion of negotiations incident to proposed contractual arrangements and proposed sale or purchase of property located in southern Beaufort County pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-70A2. Receipt of legal advice relating to instructional materials covered by the attorney-client privilege pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-70A2.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
And also,
Any discussion?
yes,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know who will be advising us in executive session.
Bernie Williams.
Okay, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Sarah Robinson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'll have a vote. All those here in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Online?
Aye.
And
Frazier,
okay,
aye.
Frazier, aye. Was that Mr. Small?
Yes. Aye.
Okay, I got you. All right. Is Miss Gordon on? Or Miss Hay? Okay, motion carries unanimously with the exception of Chloe Gordon, David Carr, and Elizabeth Hay absent. Let's go to executive session. Beaufort County School Board of Education to order at the District Education Services Center, Media Center at 2900 Mink Point Road, Beaufort, South Carolina. This is July 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Public comments. We will have public comments on the agenda. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker on Beaufort County School District and school-related topics. Citizens wishing to participate in public comments can do so in person or via phone. There are 2 scheduled public comment forum during each board meeting. The first is a 30-minute session near the beginning of the meeting, limited to topics on the board meeting agenda. The second, a 15-minute session, which takes place prior to adjournment, but no later than 9 p.m. Requests to participate in public comments via phone will be accepted electronically. You can find the Beaufort Board of Education public comment form on our website. Please sign up using the public comment form 24 hours before the day of the meeting. Requesters will subsequently receive a phone call during their respective public forum time and should be ready to speak. Citizens desiring to participate in in-person public comments must fill out a public comment card that can be obtained from the board clerk upon arrival. Madam Secretary, do we have any actions as necessary or appropriate regarding matters discussed in executive session?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we have 3 motions coming out of executive session. The first motion is I move that the Board of Education accept the superintendent's ratification of personnel report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any discussion?
Um,
Mr. Smith?
in that ratification report, is there anything special that we're accepting?
There is a second motion coming, but
Okay.
not in that ratification report, no.
Okay, well then, okay. Thanks for
Okay.
clarification.
Okay. And no further questions. All those in favor and here in the boardroom signify by saying aye. Aye. Online. Let's see. Dr. Carr?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Small?
Aye.
Ms. Hay?
Aye.
Hey, aye.
Okay. Motion carries.
Our second motion is I move that the Board of Education accept the superintendent's recommendation to hire Jennifer Murillo, principal of Beaufort Middle School.
Second.
The motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. No, okay.
I'm a no.
Okay. Online, Mr.
Carr,
Small?
aye.
Carr, aye. Mr. Small? Ms. Hay?
Hey, aye.
Hay is aye. And Ms. Gordon? Nothing heard from Ms. Gordon? Any no's?
Mr. Smith is no.
Mr. Smith is a no. Motion carries.
I'm on line 2. I got missed for the last vote.
Oh, Ms. Frazier, when's your vote, please? I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Fuzzle.
I got you, sir. Okay.
Our final motion from executive session. I move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent to finalize the Town of Bluffton land swap amendment for approximately 11 acres of land from the Willow Run parcel for the approximate 23 acres of land owned by the Town of Bluffton adjacent to the Willow Run parcel.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Mr. Smith?
In the reading of that motion, it says nowhere near about him bringing it back to us. I'm concerned about him bringing it back to us to take out what we discussed, and there's nothing in there about that. Executive session.
Mr. Audi, do you want to clarify? Sorry.
We do intend to bring the final motion to you next time. If you want to add that to the motion, I see no problem with that.
Okay.
Motion to amend. To add and to bring back to the board to be finalized.
So let me read the amended motion, Molly, okay? So I move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent to finalize and bring back to the board the Town of Bluffton land swap amendment for approximately 11 acres of land from the Willow Run parcel for the approximate 23 acres of land owned by the Town of Bluffton adjacent to the Willow Run parcel.
Okay. Second by Mr. Dallas. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in the room, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye. Aye. Online, Ms. Gordon? Nothing heard. Dr. Carr?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Hay?
Hay, aye.
Motion carries.
So that was for the amendment. Now we get to vote on the
Now we
motion.
get to vote on the motion.
Here we go again.
Go ahead.
Oh, I've already, okay. I move that the Board of Education approve the superintendent to finalize and bring back to the board the Town of Bluffton land swap amendment for approximately 11 acres of land from the Willow Run parcel for the approximate 23 acres of land owned by the Town of Bluffton adjacent to the Willow Run parcel.
Thank you. Any discussion? A second? Second, Mr. Dallas. All right. No discussion. All those in the building, raise your hand and say aye. Favor?
Aye.
Aye. Online?
Alfonso, aye.
Alfonso, aye. All right. Ms. Gordon? Nothing heard from Ms. Gordon. Dr. Carr?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Hay?
Hay, aye.
Motion carries. Further? No further motions?
That concludes executive session.
All right. Thank you. Now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Nay and seconded by Ms. Boatright. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye here in the room. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries in the room. Now we go to Ms. Gordon. Nothing heard. Mr. Small.
Aye.
Mr. Small is an aye. Dr. Carr.
Aye.
Dr. Carr is an aye. Ms. Frazier.
Aye.
Is an aye. Ms. Hay.
Hay, aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence, please. Aye. Public. Thank you. Ms. Johnson, has the media been notified? It has been notified. Thank you. First, public comments. Do we have any initial public comments? Two second. Okay, but no initial. All right. Next item on the agenda is the chair's report. Chair has nothing to report. The superintendent's report. Dr. Lee.
Thank you, sir. This evening for the superintendent's report, we have one item under student achievement relating to our 2025 summer school program. The presentation will be provided by Dr. Stratos, our Chief Instructional Officer, and her team. And then following that, under other matters, we will have a construction update.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Stratos.
Chairman Guyer and board members, this evening I bring forward our secondary director for teaching and learning, Karen McKinsey, who's been very instrumental with our secondary summer school for our 6 through 12 grade students, as well as working in tangent with Dr. Bullitt and Melissa Murray for elementary. With that, I bring forward Karen McKinsey. In your possession should be an executive summary, and there are brief slides for your review. Thank you. Ms. McKinsey.
Thank you, Dr. Stratus, and thank you, board members, for the opportunity to share with you tonight the successes of our students this summer. I want to start with elementary. Even though I was not directly over elementary, we did work together, so I do want to share some of that. But before I get started, I do want to let you know we are still in review of data, so some of this will change. That is why we have listed as preliminary. As you know, the state requires that we provide summer school to our students in elementary school based on the year before's scores. This year, they threw a little wrench into us and they raised that cutoff by 70 points. So it went from 419 to 489. With that, we initially had right at 800 students that qualified. So that's a focus on our third grade students. By the end of the year, all of those 800 were not necessarily below that level, but because they were so close, we kept them on the invite list because we thought that little bit of support would be beneficial over the summer. We had 18 of our elementary schools that participated in summer school. We had a wealth of highly qualified teachers. So for 14 days, all day long, they worked diligently. Some of the things that they worked on were phonemic awareness and word recognition. As you know, with the science of reading that the state has put out under letters, those things lead directly into reading comprehension. So it's very important that we work consistently on that. You'll see on the summer school locations, and I'm not going to go over each of those, but I will say it is a lot to ask of a principal to pick up their entire school and move down the street. So we do want to say thank you to all of our principals for doing that. A very special shout out to our principal at River Ridge Academy because he had basically 2 schools to move. We were very fortunate that we were able to use Bluffton Elementary. Across the street is McCracken to make it easier for our parents. Another thing that our reading did was they worked in small groups with these students very diligently to make sure that they were up on state standards. Another enrichment program that we provided is Project Lead the Way. As you know, that's a very engaging program. Again, we had these elementary kids all day, so we did want to break that up with something engaging, and Project Lead the Way was a wonderful fit that is also aligned to our state standards. If you look at our secondary, that's more my groove, to be honest. But if you look at secondary, again, this year we were extremely blessed. We only had 2 sites that had to share. Again, that was Mr. Ryman and his crew at River Ridge were over at McCracken. And our Hilton Head crew were used to working together. For the last couple years, Mr. Austin has traveled over to Hilton Head High School with his crew, and Mr. Shidrich has welcomed him. Now it's the opposite. Mr. Shidrich is taking his crew over to Mr. Austin and being welcomed at our middle school. Before I go any further, though, I have to say, summer school starts in February for us. We fill this room with district support people, facilities, operations, transportation, food service, all of the different pieces that work together. And because of that, I think we had an extremely successful year. So a definite shout out to our transportation. They got those kids to us safely and on time every day. Our food service people kept them well nourished and ready to learn, and our facilities were clean and ready to learn in. So I did want to acknowledge that. We also had 14 days, but we went with a half-day schedule with our secondary students this year. It's something that our teachers have requested for years, and we finally said, okay, let's give it a shot. We should have listened to them before. It was a wonderful success. As I go through the program, sometimes I'll see students off task in summer school. Not so much this year. They were focused. They knew they were on a time crunch, and they met that. It's very personalized learning. We go through Edgenuity. So what the students do is they take an initial assessment. It tells them exactly what they need to become proficient in those standards, and that's what they work on. We had over 800 students in secondary, 147 educators, and we had 913 courses taken. Now, I know your head just went, 800 students, 913 courses, something's off. We do have students who need just a little extra time in more than one course. The state allows us to provide 2. I'm really excited about this part. We are looking right now at an 85% success rate in our middle school. That's up from 76.9 of last year, and a 90% high school success rate, which is up from 80% of last year. We still do have some of our seniors are allowed to work until the Saturday prior to school starting. So some of them are still working. So that number may even go up a little bit, which would be wonderful. We do already have several seniors that have met the obligation and will be graduating in July. If you look at that next slide, this is the preliminary data that I was telling you about. In middle school, we had 571 courses that were attempted, and right now we have 487 that are successfully completed. Now, a caveat to that is some of our students do require a little extra time, so those may not have been closed out. So we do have a good number of courses that we're still looking to review to see whether or not if that student met state proficiency guidelines. That number hopefully will go up a little bit. High school, again, this number may go up based on our seniors, 342, but we have 304 successfully completed courses. That is tremendous. That is a tremendous amount of work of our students. So I thank parents for getting them to us and letting us borrow them for a few more weeks during the summer, our students for working hard, our teachers, most importantly, our administrators and summer school coordinators. It's a tough job. Before I finish though, and this is not in my presentation, this is breaking data that I got right as I was coming in, our multilingual program, we offered that to our schools this year. We said, hey, if you want it, we'll do our best to provide it. They wanted it. We served 505 students on language this summer. Incredible. Also, our special education students, as you know, the state requires us, any student who needs continued support throughout the summer is allowed that extended school year. So we had 21 students that were involved in that this year. And we did that on both sides of the river for the ease of our parents. So that was held at MC Riley Elementary and Robert Smalls. If you had the honor of going to Robert Smalls during the summer, it was a busy place. They had 11 programs going on in that school. There's something to be said for that organization. But we were excited about our summer school outcomes so far. We feel like our continued focus on Tier 1 instruction next year is going to even help those numbers even more next year. Thank you. I'll take any questions if you have.
Questions or comments? Mr. Smith?
I just would like to thank all the staff members who helped and work summer school, because working all year long and then to come and work summer school can be kind of tedious. So I just like to thank them and thank the parents and the students who did attend summer school with moving forward. And I'd like to thank you all for putting in the work to help move this district in the right direction. So I'd like to thank you all as well. That's it.
Thank you. And I will definitely share that with our teachers.
Mr. Ney?
I was lucky enough to go to the graduation ceremony of Hilton Head Island Middle School and just watch the wonderful energy that was going on there and the rebuilding of the little courtyard garden over there. I mean, it's gorgeous, and the kids were all excited. It was a great experience. I loved it.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you brought that up because that was a pilot program. We're going to share a little bit more about that later. We started it last year and we built on it this year. So I'm glad that you were able to go because that was a very creative and wonderful program for our students there at IB.
I went to a number of sessions at Robert Smalls. I was there the first day. Operationally and logistically, it was perfect. The food service, commend them. That's kind of a difficult thing to pull together, but they did an excellent job. And I saw really well-organized and enthusiastic kids there. And I was kind of wondering if I would see people moping around. They were there for the summer and it was nice outside, but I didn't see that. I saw kids getting down and getting after it. So it was a good thing.
And Chairman Guy, if I could please to the board, I want to thank you for your generosity with the funding giving for our summer school. Many counties, school districts actually have a requirement of payment, and our families do not pay for summer school. So thank you for that funding allocation as well. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next item is construction update.
Right. Well, good evening, everybody. Thanks for
Evening.
allowing me to present the construction updates through the end of June of 2025. And I will begin with the update for the 2019 bond referendum. Currently at the end, or as of the end of June, we had 13 projects in closeout. So we've continued to make progress on those closeouts. The financials for the 2019 bond referendum at the end of June, where we had a paid and committed funds total of $374.57 million. Remaining available funds, which include the contingency of $1.4 million. And in June, we had a contingency activity that included the savings of about $250,000 and the use of about $1.3 million on the bond referendum. A lot of those items were related to some of these remaining funds that keep coming from the closeouts from the CMs, and we continue to make progress. To date, on the remaining items that we put on the contract with that contingency that we keep shoring up, we have encumbered approximately $3.6 million. And that includes projects ranging from playgrounds, athletics, safety, security, and technology infrastructure improvements. So we continue to move forward with progress. And for those interested, tomorrow we'll be giving an update as well to the clock at 6 p.m. at Okatee Elementary School. Any questions on the 2019 bond referendum?
Mr. Dallas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Vargas. I think when the closeouts that started a few years back was more than 30, so you made significant progress in cutting them to 13.
Yeah.
The root cause factors that we were told were the issues are they still there in these 13, or has there been progress?
There has been progress, and just one example is we've actually sat down with a contractor, did an audit of their financials so that we can expedite the closeout of these closeouts. That should get us closer to finalizing and getting us the last 2 or 3 pay apps that remain so that we can get the cost of work adjustments and just finalize those projects.
Excellent, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
Also on these closeouts, I know that there was some stuff I was looking for it. I know at the beginning of when the Robert Smalls was built, there was some leakage and some different things going on. How does that play into this? That just had someone ask me that recently.
I'm sorry, if you could repeat the question.
I know at the beginning of when Robert Smalls Academy was built, I know there was some leakages and some different things going on. And I know we talked about them at some point coming back in and taking care of that. Where can I find that information in this packet?
We're talking
I
about
did see some nice pictures of it, but yeah.
I can't. So, I mean, I know that's warranty work. So that's a little different than closeout. So of course the contract warranty is a year past the end of construction. So we can close out a project and something come up during that year, like you're referring to, and that's handled as a warranty item.
So that won't. So have those items been taken care of as far as we know, or?
Yes. Yes. The one thing I know at Robert Smalls, there are some awnings that came off in the snowstorm. Believe it or not, the awnings weren't designed for snow load. And so we actually had several of the awnings that fell off, and we have to replace those. But that was after the warranty period, and that they really weren't designed for that much snow that we had this summer. But outside of that, everything else has been taken care of.
I'll leave that a different discussion. Okay.
Any other questions about the 2019 referendum? Okay, let's go on to the next referendum.
All right, moving along to the 2023 bond referendum. All projects are reporting with the green traffic light for budget and schedule. May River Elementary School, the Town of Bluffton Land Disturbance Development Permit has been received, and the silt fence and stormwater inspection is scheduled to occur this month. So we should be moving right along with bringing trees down and getting the site ready for concrete slab and all the utilities. At May River High School, the CTE JROTC additions, the JROTC building dry-in is complete. The rooftop units are in place. Fire sprinkler pipe is being, or actually that one is complete. The rough fin is continuing to progress onto the CTE portion of the building. Over on the CTE side, the roof decking is 50% complete, and the dry-in is scheduled to take place this month so that we can begin some of the rough ins and some of the interior activities inside the building so that we can continue to progress. Right now, we are still looking like a December timeframe to get that building prepared for all the turnovers. Over at the new Early Learning Center, the structural narrative for the stormwater impact reviews pending. However, the schematic designs, we are looking to receive those in August, and we will work with the construction manager to receive some of that pricing that will help us understand where we currently stand with that design. If we need to make any additional changes, we'll let everybody know what's going along with the project as it progresses. On the Hilton Head Island High School project, right now the project is actually a little bit ahead of schedule. It looks like the summer activities, which include a lot of that site preparation for the road and the traffic circle, they are actually keeping on track, and it does seem that we are going to be okay for the return of children when we're done through the summer. The pricing for phases 2 through 4, we are anticipating that is going to be received in August. So we'll have more discussions once we start getting that pricing to let everybody know where we currently stand. Hopefully we are within the target. Last time we did have a pricing review, it looked like we were going to meet what the budget was for the project. The new Ladies Island Middle School replacement, the rezoning to industrial and campus classification, that was approved by the city of Beaufort, and the design development has begun. So right now, that project is currently on target pricing wise, and so far we're hoping that we keep on track with how the project is progressing. On the financials for the 2023 bond referendum, the paid and committed funds currently total $183.78 million. We have a remaining available funds, which include the contingency of $255.26 million. There was no program contingency activity for the month of June. The current program contingency remains at $11.74 million, with some of the project level contingencies currently remaining at $13.65 million. Any questions regarding the 2023 bond referendum?
Mr. Smith?
Yes, I'd like to say on public record, in terms of Lazy Eye Middle School, the building changing into what it looked like, in that there was a conversation even over that I was out somewhere, and the conversation was about the neighbors to the school, and that school has been there since I've been a kid, and there's been like a new community that has been placed behind it. And I will say this publicly, in that I guess the community has maybe made a couple complaints, and I guess the community is trying to figure out is that why the original plans have changed in Lazy Eye Middle School and which we have had now. And so the community is very concerned, and they are not pleased with what we're hearing in terms of the changes into the building, into the layout, into saying that where we're moving the fields and where we're going to start building and all of that, into some of the stuff that we are right now. That there's been some complaints about the noise and about they don't want the school building that close to their house. There's a community right behind it where the initial building was supposed to be break ground at. And so there are definitely some people in the community who are not happy about that and who are concerned about that. And so I just want to put that out there, and that to me, I am as well displeased with that, and I am very concerned about that. And, the community told me they will be watching this project because we've not shortened any other project in terms of moving trees or anything else in terms of building up the budget. And so hopefully that the same grace and mercy that we give to every other school in this district and in their projects is that we're hopefully that this is going to be the same grace and mercy that we give Layside Middle School and moving forward with this project. Just want to put that on record. Thank you.
Mr. Otting?
If I could, sir, we plan on bringing the new design to the SIC, as soon as we get invited, probably September. I'd invite yourself and anybody from the community to come to that meeting so we can show that design. Quite honestly, I'm quite proud of how it's ending up, and I think everybody's going to be very excited about how it looks and how it's turning out. So please invite everybody that has any concern, and we'll be glad to address that with them.
Yeah, and I've been kind of told that before. And also the last time that y'all went before the SIC, it was the same night that we had a school board meeting, unfortunately. And I think that wasn't the best time for that as well, because as I would say, even in being termed and being fronting in the community about that, I was not at that meeting. So therefore I couldn't get them any feedback, and I couldn't defend or respond to that respectfully because I had no knowledge of some of those things or what was discussed there. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dallas?
Yeah, firstly, this design is very impressive. So kudos to that. I made a note to myself when I first saw this picture. Are there opportunities to showcase to the general public, not just the SIC, this design and answer some of the questions that Mr. Smith is raising? Because I think some of them were triggered by the potential green space property that also. So I think the public needs to have that full.
Yeah, we'd be glad to have a separate public meeting if that's what we need to set up either through yourself, Mr. Smith, or we can set that up. Let us know who to contact and we'll be glad to set that up. Because as you say, Mr. Dallas, I'm quite proud of that design. And I think once public knows the whole story, they'll be excited about it as well.
Oh my, we can always take it to the public to and give them information, but I don't think it was green space. I think that the building went from 1 story to 2 story overnight, and that's not what was first discussed with them. So I think that along those lines and upon changing where the location building was in the fields, and I think those were kind of what I was getting, what people were questioning. Thank you.
Just come prepared to answer those.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Pastor Gordon?
I might have spoken to you earlier to share about it, but I know some work that needed to be done at James J. Davis. There was supposed to be a HVAC replacement and parking lot addition. Has any of those things?
I'm going to talk to the HVAC. All right. So the parking lot additions, we have received the survey. The civil engineers are currently working on their design for the parking lot. That we anticipate that we should be having the designs on hand hopefully by the end of the year with pricing and gearing up to get everything for the upcoming summer. Obviously, we have to play out and see how the authority having jurisdictions and all the permitting plays out, hopefully so that we can meet those timeframes. However, like I said, that project is progressing.
Okay.
Regarding go ahead, sir.
The plan for the addition of the parking lot is the part of the parking lot that's right there in front of the school, correct?
That's correct. We're
Okay.
expanding it
Right.
to the east.
Got you.
And then we're resurfacing some of where you have the bus lot
Right.
and that existing parking lot as well.
Okay.
And we are looking to also see if the budget will allow to resurface the staff parking lot that's to the west as well.
Right. Okay.
So we will have that as an alternate in the design as well.
Okay. And the HVAC.
So the HVAC, we have received notification and we actually spoke with our emergency or energy management coordinator, JD Atkinson, and we received notification that there is and I'm trying to see here, JJ Davis, the shipment that is coming from the manufacturer right now, we're looking at a mid-fall timeframe. Yes. However, the systems, as he explained to us, they are currently operational. So it's not like right now they're not running without the air. It's just not the brand new system that we were anticipating for. And a lot of those issues we've asked the manufacturers deal with that refrigerant change, dug deeper into it. They also have shortages with the new cylinders that hold this refrigerant.
Okay.
So it's a lot of things that are in a way out of our control. And we're trying to work with the manufacturer to see if they can have alternate solutions or any way that they can expedite this process so that we can get it sooner than October. A lot of times what they've been telling us is that the equipment gets delayed several months, and then a couple weeks later you'll receive the equipment. So we're hoping that that is one of those scenarios.
Okay. Now I know in the wintertime, I know they was having a lot of issues in the winter last year. So because reason why I know this is because I used to drive school bus there. So a couple times I went to pick up the little ones, they had to leave early because
The heat exchangers
no
were not
heat.
working.
Yeah. So
No, if I'm correct, I believe that those were fixed
repaired.
in the
Okay.
last winter, because it happened 1 or 2 times
It did.
when we had those issues, and we worked with some of our vendors that we currently have under contract to help us
Okay.
with those repairs. So
All right.
we should not be encountering those issues.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
You got it.
Are you
Yes, sir.
finished?
All right. Moving along
Go
to
ahead.
moving along to the other project updates. These include the 8% capital improvements plan. Just a couple highlights. The projects currently are all reporting with green traffic lights for budget and schedule. Just like I said, just giving a couple project highlights throughout the district. Currently, we have a school-wide lighting fixture replacement at Bluffton Elementary. And actually, I didn't put it in this report as well, but MC Riley Elementary is going through the same type of scope change. We are progressing. We're about 50% complete with that work. We are tracking to be complete before the teachers return to school with that project. The May River High School cafeteria expansion, we are going to be ready for the start of school with the new cafeteria. So that's the addition plus new flooring. It's all going to look like one complete project took place. You're not going to have one hodgepodge of flooring around the area. It's gonna be a whole complete. It looks brand new if you haven't seen it yet. Over at Joseph Shanklin Elementary School, we have a lot of interior renovations in there. If you guys are not aware of this, the classrooms used to have these metal panels on the walls. Those are all coming out, and actually the school is ready to be turned over on that scope. The similar scope is also taking place at St. Helena Elementary School. Contractor is looking to finish that before the kids arrive in school. So we are mobilizing as many crews as possible to finish this scope. And it was a major undertaking to do those renovations at Shanklin and St. Helena, because we didn't know what we were going to find behind those walls. But lucky for us, it wasn't that bad of a condition, and we were able to get a lot of that work done. We thought we were going to have to face it out 2 summers. It ended up being just this summer. So any questions regarding the other project updates? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Over at St. Helena, there were some. I know there were some updates on some bathrooms. How do y'all intend to get some of those smells out of those bathrooms?
A lot of that smell deals with the flooring that you have. So it's you have to tear off the flooring and replace it with new. So that should take care of those smells, because what you're talking about is probably you have the odor that's stuck in the grout in the floor. So what we've done, Willow Branch Middle School, for example, we had to do the same thing to mitigate it. You do some repairs to the drainage in the sewers, and then you just remove the flooring. You replace it with the epoxy flooring that you see all throughout, and that should be able to help take that smell out of there.
Right, and the reason why I'm asking that is because it would remind me of a god awful smell at Beaufort High School that I always go to. And when you first walk in there, the men's bathroom, the smell is god awful, and so I definitely don't want those babies walking in there and that still that same smell being there. So I was just wondering. So it sounds like you have a game plan. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to that smell not being there. And I appreciate the crew and the hard work that they're doing in that building. I definitely do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I will let you know that the project manager that's on top of that particular facility, if the problem persists, he will continue to seek ways to mitigate that issue if it's something deeper than what we've done. So just to let you know, it's not like we're just gonna leave everybody hanging there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess you don't happen to have a date when they'll be able to go back in the building and visit, do you?
I'm sorry?
You don't have a date where people where the building be done?
So right now they haven't given us a definitive date, but we are looking to be complete before the return of the children. Like I said, right now they finished Joseph Shanklin. They have mobile St. Helena was going on simultaneously, but they're looking to take some of the crews that were at Joseph Shanklin and supplementing that project so they can get it because it's a bigger facility. They're just trying to move it a little bit quicker.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right. Community outreach, we have no activity to report as of now. Once the groundbreaking for May River Elementary is scheduled, we'll notify the public, the board, and the staff and the request for proposals, RFPs, and request for qualifications, RFQs. We do not have any activity to report as of now. So that concludes my construction update.
Okay, and any other? Yes, sir.
I just have some for the operations committee. I just have a questions in terms of the how do we choose what we keep when I know there were some tallest that were over at Cylinder, and I guess they took them out, and I'm not sure. The question was whether they're going to reuse them, and how do we decide that? What's that process? And also in terms of material, how involved is staff in material? So that's something that I wish that we could send to the operations committee so that we get a better understanding of those things.
Okay.
I mean, because I think it's very important that we understand how we're spending money and what that looks like.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Next, we have board business action. We have one item, and that's your item, sir. That's graduation. So we don't want to go ahead and tell us about the item you want to bring up.
Graduation. There were a couple things during graduation. I know that I and a couple other board members had into question in terms of there were some things that go around students' neck that were what was it called? Yes, some stalls and lanyards that was taken from students, and also at one graduation, it was the board members that was named were board members who were on the board last year, and so there's some things that I think that we need to discuss in terms about graduation that we've been kind of tiptoeing around it for years. So I just think that that's the reason why I brought it up. I know a couple of board members did have questions during the graduation ceremony, so I just thought this would be a good time not to let too much time linger, before about things that we wanted to have questions and talk about. So I know it wasn't just me.
No, I did not get to go to as many graduations as I usually do this year, but I think what you might be getting at too is that there's just not a lot of consistency between graduations. So some schools allow stoles, some schools don't. And at what point should the district have a policy? Because it does lead to unnecessarily bad feelings excuse me, what I'm getting at. If one school, I'm not that emotional about this really.
Some water right there.
I got water. Okay. If one school has one policy and your neighbor down the street has a different policy. So I think that's worth maybe talking about in a larger context. Oof,
Right.
I feel like Kermit the Frog.
Okay, take your time. Don't rush.
Mr. Nay?
Thank you, Mr. I understand that the principals deserve some autonomy in running their ceremonies, and I totally get that. Each in that respect, each high school is its own little island. I get it, but it's and from what I understand so far is that some principals only allow stoles that are issued to them by the high school. So if they're a National Merit Scholar and the school gives them they can wear a National Merit Scholar. But a soft spot for me, I literally watched somebody remove a Marine Corps stole from a student that was going into the Marine Corps afterwards. Because as Marines come filing in, I went to 6 graduations, and as or students that are going on to military service come filing in, I kind of mark them so that I can say congratulations and good luck to you. And I literally watched one of the I don't know if it was a assistant principal, but somebody literally took the military stoles off the kids' necks. And I don't think that's appropriate. I know it wasn't issued by the school, but that's a soft spot, and I know that it's not just the students that were disappointed. I guarantee the parents are disappointed too.
So what I'm hearing is an operations committee task to take a look at that and see what kind of standardization that the board would like to see at all graduations. I think it would be operationally, but it also has an academic partial.
Yeah, and I know that the schools take on a personality of their own, and the graduations do too. So principals do like to have the autonomy, and every graduation is a little bit different. But I think that we can discuss, and I think the academic committee might be the appropriate place to have some standardization. We can have that discussion and then bring through academic committee.
Ms. Gordon is not on here, but we'll pass it along. Mr. Dallas?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Boatright. I think the core issue is that it's not communicated clearly before the event what is or is not acceptable by school. For example, the seating on the stages, one of the feedback I got was, oh, why are all the black people on the back row? And it was more actually done by who was speaking. So that person would be on the front row, right? And so those were the types of things, just explaining what the protocols are, and we can eliminate a lot of that.
Mr. Smith?
Well, yeah, and to that degree too. Also, even the programs, I had a ton of people asking me, well, why wasn't your name put on the program? Why was it just put a board member from Beaufort County School District or something? And then other programs, they put down, like for May River, they had his name on the program who was actually speaking. And I knew Beaufort High knew because the executive assistant told me that Beaufort High School emailed and asked who was speaking, so they knew that I was speaking. But the program didn't say that. They also said board members from last year. So these are not the first time that these situations at graduation has been occurring. These are reoccurring issues, and I think that we've talked about this long enough for a couple of years now. And as well, even as so there's a lot to. I think there's quite a bit to unpack here, and I think that we're all asking for the same thing in terms of standardization in a basically a set policy. And I think it's our job. I understand what my colleagues say about the principals having their own swag. At some degree, every principal will still respectfully put their own squish to it, or they don't dress it up. But I think that we need a district, and something I've been asking about. We need a district standard policy for every school, just to be fair across the board. So I think that this would be good. I think this would be very meaningful.
I think Dr. Lee's got that, and we'll pass that along to Ms. Gordon, the chair of the academic committee. Any other comments on this topic? Okay, we don't have anything on the consent agenda. Any future agenda topics? Mr. Smith?
Yes, the topic that I just gave about understanding the process of these. I saw some tiles that remind me of May River High School. May River High School, when it first was, what you pay for is what you get. And that whole floor was pretty much in the front atrium, had to be kind of redone again. And I just saw some tiles that was but a little thicker than this paper. So I think that we need to make sure that we are actually checking that we're getting the correct bang for our buck. In terms of people are trusting us with the money, we need to make sure that we are checking and making sure that we're getting quality.
So you'd like a discussion on quality management from Robert Otting to operations?
Yeah, but if we get quality materials,
Yeah.
let me finish it. Yeah, because that goes back to that. Just like I asked for a in terms of we passed a huge budget about the fields. Still hadn't gotten them back on that, but yeah, just so this, I mean, yeah, I think we need to be stewards of the taxpayers' money. So that's why I'm asking those questions.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
We have it. Thank you. Any other? Okay. Announcements. Do you have any announcements, Dr. Lee?
Yes, I do. Thank you. The Board of Education previously expressed interest in selling surplus properties of the district to raise funds for future capital needs. We're pleased to announce the successful sale of the 19.5 acre property located at Cherokee Farm Road. This property was identified as a surplus in the district's facility master plan, and the sale process began in 2024. After securing the matched appraisal value of $390,000, the transaction was finalized on Monday. Proceeds of the sale will be deposited into the district's capital projects account to support future improvements. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. Now we have time for second public comments.
Quick question.
Miller?
Quick question.
Go
I just want, how do we know, you said it will be going into the which account?
The capital
Capital
funds project, capital projects funds.
Is that where the board made the motion to send that, to send those funds?
It always goes there, sir. It always goes there.
Okay, well.
It can only go there.
Okay, well, I just want to be clear so that, you know, that's money that we know. So when we're budgeting, that we know that that's there as well.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Miller? Mr. Miller, topic is the Peter Principle.
The Peter Principle of management was the Peter Principle of management was originated by Lawrence Peter, a professor. His principle says that all organizations in the long run are managed by incompetent people. How he gets to that conclusion is if you're doing a good job, you get promoted. If you don't get promoted and doing a good job, you go to another corporation. Eventually, you get promoted again to a point where you're incompetent. And so the Peter Principle says, in the long run, everything's run by incompetent people. Kind of an interesting comment. With respect to band, I've been here several times and talked about the number of terminations we've had the last couple years. I look back and I feel like many of those terminations, or I shouldn't say terminations, people wanting to leave, were kind of a result of the Peter Principle, if you will. They were looking for schools that were more receptive to a band program. More recently, with the vacancies we've had, especially within the middle schools, and my conversations over 10 years of volunteering and going to other band programs in other schools, I continue to get asked what's going on down there in Beaufort County. The perception is that isn't a place you want to go to. And my feeling, though I like to talk data, my feeling is from what I see of new hires, especially in the middle school, I won't say they're incompetent, but marginally at the present time and are going to require a lot of management to bring them up to norm. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have one online? Is that correct? Pardon me? Only one. All right. All right, that is the end of our agenda. And unless there's objection, that's adjourned by unanimous consent. So, thank you.